before we get into the video, this is just really weird out of bounds. Like, it just has no collision. Use it if you want. I don't know what you can do with it, but I just randomly found it and thought it was interesting. But anyway, time to go into this broken exotic build. Exotic? Sunbracers. Now, you can have really whatever you want on your Sunbracers, but personally, I always think at least one momentum transfer and bolstering detonation are always good. Momentum transfer whenever you cause damage with a grenade, reduce your melee cooldown. I mean, you're going to be absolutely spamming nades everywhere with this build, so no harm in it, is there? You can swap off in second thing for a firepower. It's just I find that not really necessary. And then bolstering detonation just makes you have your cast ability up more often. Abilities: Phoenix Dive. Phoenix Dive just works really well with this build because when Heat Rises is activated, which we also use in this build, it grants us restoration, so it gives us that survivability, and it scorches targets just so if our incinerator snap does not cause things to ignite, it then allows us to cause ignition, which counts as an incinerator snap kill, proccing our Sunbracers, allowing us to carry on the loop. Obviously running Solar Nade and use a jump of your choice. Aspects will be Heat Rises and Touch of Flame. Heat Rises will be not necessarily because of what it does for Phoenix Dive, but that does help a lot. It's more of this bottom part of the text. Final blows while airborne increase the duration of Heat Rises and grants melee energy. This helps us obviously infinitely loop Incinerate Snap into our nades. And then Touch of Flame because there's no real downside to it, it just increases how long they last and makes them do more damage. Onto Fragments. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. This just makes it so whenever you use your Incinerate Snap, you then become radiant, and anyone near you also becomes radiant. The -10 discipline really does not matter here. Ember of Solace. Restoration and radiant effects applied have increased duration. And this just kind of helps with the Phoenix Dive and again the Incinerated Snap with Ember of Torches. Pumps out more damage, it allows us to have more healing, it's very good to have. Ember of Ashes. You apply more Scorch to targets. This practically guarantees our Incinerator Snap will scorch a target and ignite him, allowing us to carry out the loop. Finally will be Ember of Searing. Defeating a scorched target grants melee energy and creates a fire spray. Now, the fire spray, you could maybe use the new mod that when you pick up a certain amount of fire sprays grants you an elemental charge. You could use that with this. However, the main part of it is that it grants melee energy when you defeat a scorched target. Obviously, this always scorches a target, and so it just allows you to like basically infinitely loop a lot easier. Now onto armor. The helmet, I will highly recommend having double heavy armor finder and heavy armor scout. This build is absolutely insane for generating heavy ammo, especially if you run double special like I am here. Now, the reason why I'm running this glaive is because, well, it can roll with incandescent, and I was lucky enough to, for my first ever one of the new dungeon, got incandescent on it, so I've decided to use it. You can use Careless Mini Tool if you're not comfortable with managing ammo. However, that never really is a problem with this build because all of your damage is coming from your Sunbracers and Solar Nades. The chest piece. Okay, so the chest piece, just put on your resist mods and a few reserve mods if you please. It really doesn't matter. If you're not doing in-game activities and you don't need any reserves and you're just breezing through it, put on full resist mods. Why not? Now the boots are where it gets interesting because you can really put whatever you want onto these. I have invigoration on here just so whenever one of my teammates or anything produces an orb of power, I get, well, reduced melee cooldown. I also have double arc weapon surge on. However, this is not needed for, as I was saying before, all levels of content. This is just a build I ran for the new dungeon, and it carried me a lot. You can, however, use Elemental Charge. The Elemental Charge is a new mod this season and allows it so when collecting a 5-spray Ionic Trace, Stasis Shard or Void Breach, or destroying a Strand Tangle, has a chance of giving you Armor Charge. Now, again, combined with our fragment, Ember of Searing. Whenever we defeat a scorched target, it generates a fire sprite with a very short cooldown. However, I do not think this is necessary, as your teammates should be generating many orbs for you to make use of, and if they're not, just go into your arms and swap out one of these momentum transfers for a firepower. Finally, onto the class item. I just like to keep it simple with double time dilation. You don't really need anything more than that. You can also use special finisher. I don't recommend this because, well, ammo really is not a problem in this build. You have plenty of it all over the place. Like, just look at this clip. Now, if you are going to use special finisher because A, you're not very confident with keeping up your special ammo usage, or B, you're like the only person running special ammo and you need like DPS or something, whatever, right? Swap out a momentum transfer for a firepower, as this will allow you to keep constant uptime for that 3 stacks of armor charge that I needed to use special finisher. So that is it for the build, and just remember, this build probably make your fire team love you. You're going to be generating so much heavy ammo, and with a single firepower mod, you will be generating so many orbs on basically no cooldown. And you combine that with weapon surges that you can proc so easily because you're generating orbs. This build is it does it all really. I mean, you have ignitions for champs like unstops. If you run it with RB like I do, you get anti-barrier, and so your team only needs to deal with one different other champion. So that'll be it. Like, subscribe, do all that, share it. I don't really care. I'm just sharing this because it's a really fun build that I've been running recently. If you want the drip, I don't know why you would, but if you wanted it, here it is. Love you all. Bye.